Hello and welcome to Strive Defense Dialogue. I'm your host, Brigadier Rakesh Bhatia. Today we have a very special guest, Major General Harsha Kakkar. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir,
It's always a
we-
pleasure being here on Strive Dialogue.
thank you very much, sir. Sir, you have written an article recently. The onus rests on Maldives. This is on the ongoing controversy between Maldives and India that has begun with a very benign visit of our Prime Minister to Lakshadweep. So, Maldives' controversial stance is this is a great maritime game that probably is being is it's, that's the reason for Maldives' controversial stance. Who is behind this and what is happening, sir? Today, I'll request you to please tell us about all these controversial topics that are coming up, sir. So before I hand over the stage to you, very briefly, I will talk about few interesting facts about Maldives, and then I'll request you to make your opening remarks. So Maldives is a Sanskrit word which basically means Maladiv, that is garland of islands. Before Islam reached the Maldivian archipelago in 1153 due to Arabs and Persian as traders. So this can be treated as a monsoon Islam, which came from Arabs along with the traders. And prior to that, like in other cases of South Asia, Buddhism was existing. It's the flattest and the lowest country, average height 1.5 meters. It has about 1,192 islands, but less than 200 are inhabited. It is 70 nautical miles from Minicoy and 300 nautical miles from India mainland's western coast. Indian Ocean is a major route of transfer of energy and trade around the world. And actually, Maldives is like a choke point between the two important uh, landmarks of the Indian Ocean. One is the Malacca and the Gulf of Aden. And this question I'm going to ask you that can Maldives play an important role in Quad Pacific strategy subsequently when we come to it? For our viewers, this is the location of Maldives. Sir, having introduced the topic, may I now request you to actually make your opening remark to tell us that what are the relationship stressors, why this Maldives is behaving the way it is behaving from 2008 onwards. Alternatively, whenever the government comes, sometime it is pro India, sometime it is pro China. What is going on, sir? Why is it so? A country which is so importantly located, the strategic location being so important, less than half a million of population, but why is it so important? And why what are the relationship stresses?
See, jahan tak dekho, any country which is a small nation and has a big brother close by, Sri Lanka le lo, Nepal le lo, Maldives le lo, Bangladesh with the current government, jab government change hogi, it will be a reverse. There is always a fear of a big brother. Bhai, powerful hai, he may take over. The public is fed the image that a big brother is dangerous. Let me give you some examples. If you look at Maldives, let's say, alternate governments.
Correct.
If you look at the photograph that you showed of Muzu wearing the India Out t-shirt, now you are playing on the sentiments of your people, especially when you are dominated by a religion. और आप कह रहे हो India is going to take over this country. It's got its armed forces. So you are actually playing to sentiments. If you look at Sri Lanka, we face the same game. You look at Nepal, we're facing the same game. Sri Lanka elections are going to take place sometime in the latter part of the year. Abhi se hi, with the current leadership being pro-India, the opposition is giving an anti-India image.
Correct.
So the fight is going to be pro-India or anti-India. So basically, if you look at it, India dominates the thinking in these countries. Now, why does it dominate? Because it is powerful, it is able to influence, it is able to provide, it is able to protect. But it is twisted within कि भाई वो हम लोगों को हड़प लेंगे.
Correct.
So where it is that you are in a position to help, that is being twisted. पर कल अगर crisis होगा, you will come back to India. Now, Yamin, when he was the president and they had the water crisis,
Correct.
despite him being anti-India, the first country he turned to was India. और अगर आप देखो अपने मैप के अंदर, you would see that India is barely 300 nautical miles.
Correct, sir.
700 from the coast.
Correct, sir.
China is 6,000 nautical miles.
Absolutely.
Now, or 6,000 miles, you could say. Now, agar China se support aana hai, it's going to take days. A ship travels at 15 knots an hour. But from India, we could fly in the water and the ships could land there within a day and provide what was required. China took days.
Correct.
Its planes can bring something. Majority has to come by ship. And that takes time. So no matter how much you have pro-India, anti-India, ant mein you can't change geography.
Absolutely.
You cannot change neighbors. Jab dikkat hogi, you will have to go back to the same neighbor. Now, let's come to the derogatory comments jiske saath everything blew up. There has always been a fear in Maldives, jo maine bola tha about India. Now, when the PM went to Lakshadweep, उसने एक बार नहीं बोला, don't go to Maldives, come to Lakshadweep. But the Indian public, because of the growing nationalism जो आजकल हमारे अंदर है, which has not been seen for years, took the PM statement कि भाई इसका मतलब है let's ignore Maldives, which have got similar white beaches, which have got similar facilities. Of course, Lakshadweep has to come up a lot in terms of resorts and everything else. But the sort of environment that you see in Maldives and Lakshadweep is similar. So come down to Lakshadweep, don't go there. This caused panic in Maldives. अगर आप देखो 18 lakh tourists visited Maldives last year. ये I'm quoting the Maldivian Tourism Ministry.
Correct.
18 lakh tourists visited Maldives last year. उसमें से तकरीबन almost 2 to 3 lakhs were Indian. Can that figure be replaced? Now, if you look at China, United Kingdom, all of these, yahan se you got limited tourists. The Chinese who travel 187, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs is no figure of Chinese tourists.
Correct.
क्योंकि from China, अगर आपने आना है to Maldives, you got to fly 6,000 kilometers. Look at the cost of air travel. India say it's only 2.5, 3 hours from the Indian coastline. Where is the difference in flight travel between China and Maldives or between India and Maldives? The tourists who come from abroad, from Europe, are basically those जिनके पास बहुत पैसा है.
Yes, sir.
Who want to see this part of the country for possibly one odd visit and never again. Indians would go again and again. Because it's within range.
Correct.
No other country would be able to provide it. The competition for Maldives now is going to come from Sri Lanka. Because Sri Lanka is going to, it's already gone in for the UPI.
Correct.
It's given you no visa requirement. So today, the Indian tourist to Sri Lanka is increasing and the cost is going against Maldives. You will find Mauritius and Seychelles also giving you better offers, and the whole thing is going to switch away from Maldives only because of Indian nationalism rising.
And sir, Maldives is not even amongst the first top 10 foreign destinations for India. Look at
Correct.
the potential that India has got on the graphic that is there on the
हाँ
slides.
हाँ
58.91 lakhs to UAEs. If we total up, and Maldives is not even figuring, so they have spoiled their opportunity to catch hold of this sort of traffic which could have gone there.
and see, the point is, Maldives ministry ka, I mean, the Maldives economy, its mainstay is tourism.
Correct.
अब tourism को support करने के लिए you need a lot of side products,
Correct.
which is food items.
Mhm.
These food items are provided by the government of India at concessional rates. आप कहीं और से लोगे, your price is going to go up because of distance, because of transportation cost. India is giving it to you at a concessional rate only because we want to keep Maldives with us.
But sir,
Now
recently
the
after,
aspect, हाँ जी,
sorry, sir.
नहीं नहीं बोलो बोलो.
Sir, recently, after one day after the president came back from China, he has announced that the health on which for which they were dependent on India. So he's saying that we'll get better health in UAE and Thailand. And for food grains, he's talking about Turkey.
See, the वही कह रहा हूँ ना. Now you look at Turkey to get food grains. You look at the distance is going to be traveled. It's going to commute.
Correct. Correct.
India is not only giving you fruit grains. Rakesh, India is giving you vegetables, eggs. I mean, it's giving you everything that you need
Correct.
because Maldives में नहीं है.
Uh,
It is giving you everything, including vegetables. Everything is coming from India. Now, if you look at health, imagine the distance to Thailand.
correct.
UAE only deals with high-class medical care.
Correct.
It does not deal with the average. The
Absolutely.
main hospital in Maldives is, I think, the Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital or
Correct.
something,
Correct. Correct.
which is funded,
Hmm.
which is catered for by Indians, by India.
Absolutely.
It is our taxpayers' money which is going to support them.
Hmm.
Now, if you look at the chopper and that, you can get a UAV to go over your exclusive
Correct.
economic zone. ठीक है.
Absolutely.
The UAV is not going to do medical transfers.
Yes.
Why do people come to your resorts? कोई बीमार हो जाएगा, for the
Ah,
medical transfer you got Indian helicopters.
yes.
कल वो है नहीं. In
Ah,
fact, if I think that the government of India is going to pull it back, it will also pull back the helicopter and the Dornier
absolutely.
aircraft.
Absolutely.
Now, अगर आपने वो ले लिया, the point is, you automatically will get a drop in tourism because there is no medical cover on these resorts. Resorts are on atolls. कुछ
Absolutely.
नहीं है.
Kuch nahi.
Everything is
So
in Malay.
connectivity will- correct.
Nothing. Everything is in Malay. Now, who is transporting you? It's the
Mhm.
Indian helicopters.
Mhm.
वो है नहीं. Without medical portion, where will it go? You
Absolutely.
see, एक बात जरूरी है जो हमको समझना चाहिए, which we tend to miss out. Muzu was the mayor of Malay or whatever he was.
Correct.
He has not been a politician to the level where he should have been.
Hmm.
नहीं तो normally पहले दिन when you are appointed prime minister, आपको Indian government minister who's a representative has come there to meet you. Your first statement should have been thanking India
Correct.
for standing by them,
Hmm.
raising the point of India-Maldives relations. Subsequently, in a meeting with the PM or subsequently, you should have raised the aspect about moving out the Indian forces and looking for civil pilots or looking for something to come in replacement so that things could function.
So that's why, sir, it seems 75 benign personals, a total 75.
Now,
How is
now,
it? How is
now,
it affecting the sovereignty of a country? Sir?
now, when you raise it on the first day when Riju is sitting there as the
Ah,
Indian government representative and say, I want Indian armed forces personnel out, this is not maturity.
correct.
It indicates आप desperate ho because the elections are coming in for the parliament after 15th of March. You are desperate that you gain control even of the Maldives assembly or whatever they call it in the parliament
Hmm.
by saying ki, I fulfilled my promise of India route.
Correct.
He's already lost the mayoral elections
Yes, he's
for
already
Male.
very badly done.
Now, when it comes down to this, if he doesn't win this, there is a curb and
Correct.
control. He's desperate that happens. So there are games at play, and actually, what he's done is not a display of maturity, but a rushed action. अब लोग कहते हैं कि China is behind it just because he went to China. The point is, if you are going to comment on India negatively, India is not keen to welcome you.
Yeah.
He met the PM on the sidelines of the COP summit
Correct.
in UAE. He's visited Turkey, he's visited China. Jao. At the same time, it is another Sri Lankan case.
Hmm.
China, why do people go to China for loans? Firstly, China gives you money without any question.
Correct.
India gives you grants for projects. China आपको लोन देने को तैयार है आज भी. You approach anyone approaches China, any country approaches China, China loan देगा at commercial rates.
Correct.
But the loan will not go to you. जो आपको construct करना है, it will go to the Chinese company who will construct. So the money remains in China.
Including
But
the
you pay
labor.
for it.
Including the
And
labor
you
which
pay
they
for
get.
it. So ultimately, you are paying for Chinese employment.
Running Chinese economy, actually. You fueling Chinese economy.
And it's the Chinese who get employment, not your people.
Absolutely.
So with the
They don't take
bargain,
locals.
but the fact is कि आपको China से immediately loan मिलता है. So what are you looking? Short term दिखाना है. मैंने ये कर दिया, मैंने ये कर दिया. Give me another tenure.
Absolutely.
This is a political game. After all, today everybody is looking at his period in the chair. You're not looking long term. If you were that confident, you would have looked long term, and that is what India and the other Western nations provide. अगर
So
IMF
another,
आपको लोन देगा, it will look at what you want
yes,
the money for.
absolutely.
It will
And it will
assess
put
आपको क्या
conditions
चाहिए.
also to improve your economy. It will
Plus, of
impose.
course, it is known कि भाई part of the money goes into pockets
Correct.
from China. It
Hmm.
is well known. India से
So
वो मुश्किल है.
that's why corrupt politicians they put money in their pockets.
And when it comes into your pocket, that is the money you use for elections to feeding your
Yes.
way through. And then
So
you take in more. Now you look at the end result. When the last individual came into power, I'm forgetting the name of his predecessor, Moise's predecessor, pro-India,
sir.
slip ho gaya dimag se. When he came into power and PM Modi was there, Maldives did not know how much it owed China.
Yes.
It was the Chinese ambassador to Maldives जिसने बताया कि भाई you owe us so much.
Correct, sir.
So today, Maldives just about got out of the frying pan.
Right, and India was ready to fund them
And
so that
no,
they can
India did fund them. India did give them grants to help pay off the
20% of the
Chinese
total
loan.
foreign debt which Maldives has is Chinese.
See,
20% of their
देखो, even today in the budget जो अभी खत्म हो रहा है साल का, I don't know how much has been given by the government of India. 400 crores of Indian rupees, which is 1.5% of the Maldivian
of
budget,
Maldives. Yes, yes, sir.
is being funded by the government of India.
Absolutely.
So they can never ignore India. All this drama baji is more for public consumption. India is showing him two fingers by saying we're not accepting your visit so far.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, जब वो फंसेगा is the time when he will come and that request will come. It will take time. See, ये up down of that big brother, small brother, fear of a powerful nation is something we have learned to live with. हमने उसको संभाला हुआ है श्रीलंका में, नेपाल में. Now you look when Oli comes to power, he goes pro-China.
Correct.
Now the current PM, he will come down to India. And India continues providing. It slows down projects when a pro-China PM is there. It accelerates project when a pro-India PM is there.
Yes.
In Sri Lanka, जब China refused to even give us a letter to the IMF
Yes.
on rolling over of loans. But
Correct.
after India gave it on behalf of Sri Lanka, China had no choice.
Absolutely.
But still, agar election hoga and the opposition in Sri Lanka comes to power, it will go anti-Indian. So
Absolutely.
we are used to it. For us, it is a game which is on pro-India, anti-India. Chalta rahega.
But sir, like you had brought out, whether in case of South Asia, it is geography ultimately which is in our favors.
Ultimately,
China may keep doing
they have
anything,
no
sir. Whether it
choice.
is Nepal or it is Maldives or Sri
जो भी हो,
Lanka, कोई
they
भी है sir.
cannot ignore India. आप चाहे जो
They can-
करो. Today
हाँ,
he is looking at China. He says Turkey से लूंगा, Thailand में जाऊंगा medical के लिए. How many of your people can fly?
yes,
Today you don't need a visa to come to India.
correct.
Tomorrow India imposes a visa and starts scrutinizing every case. वही होगा if you remember. Let's go back 2 years to Pakistan. Earlier they used to come to Delhi for treatment,
Correct.
and we
Right
used
up
to
to
give visa
Chennai.
very liberally.
Yes.
उसके बाद हमने बंद कर दिया. Neither they have hospitals, they have nowhere to go.
Absolutely.
So there is so much that India can do to tighten Maldives, but we are sitting quiet. We are not commenting. अपने आप the whole thing will undergo a turn. So where is the
Absolutely.
rush?
Sir, sir, we go ahead in your article. A very interesting take you have is on the radicalization that is going on in Maldives. Sir, firstly, very briefly, what exactly is happening? And then, is there a risk that a park based terrorist organization uses Maldives to launch a strike against India or Indian interests? Firstly, sir,
See,
I'll request you for to talk about radicalization, what you have
and
spoken in your article, and
see,
then this.
radicalization basically Maldives is known that if you take the pro rata joining of ISIS
Hmm,
in Afghanistan, Pakistan belt, pro rata based on population, Maldives is the highest.
highest.
Based on population, not on numbers, percentage of population. Second, Pakistan has always offered Maldives religious scholarships
Correct.
in its madrasas. A number of people have gone there. They've come back radicalized, and they've created this atmosphere of radicalization. Last year in Maldives, when the yoga event was on in the stadium, it was disrupted.
Correct.
One of the reasons what Musu is playing on is on the aspect of religion. So in Maldives, because of radicalization, there is an anti-India sentiment, which is exploited by politicians. The Pakistan Army chief has gone there and offered them joint military training and a lot of other aspects, trying to gain Maldives as a foothold. There has been a lot of smuggling of drugs from Lakshadweep, Maldives on that route. And you've seen the quantum of drugs जो Indian Coast Guard and the Indian Navy has been finding out, capturing and getting back. So what is happening is all this is known. So Maldives is heading into a radicalization now. Will it be used as a base? I would say it's slightly doubtful. It's not that large an area where you can hide or you can use it at a base, and they know if it becomes a base for radicalization, possibly जो इनके पास अभी income आ रहा है from Western tourists and others who are coming in, which is making Maldives survive as a state, will come to an end. Recently, अब आप इसी की बात कर रहे हो, then I'd like to add, just a few days back, I saw a video on X, also Twitter, where a German couple, or somewhere from that side, had gone down to Maldives to rekindle their marriage vows.
Oh,
And they
yes.
requested a local Maldivian to do the honors.
Correct.
Video record kiya. When they took back the video, they realized that the video was not on marriage vows, but it was a collection of abuses in
Yes.
the local language.
Correct.
Now, all this has had an impact on Western tourism. And all this started coming out when the India Maldivian clash began. So,
Absolutely.
if radicalization increases in Maldives, if incidents increase against non Maldivians, you will find that the only source for survival, tourism industry, will come to a standstill.
Absolutely.
That is something Maldivians can't afford to let it happen.
Absolutely. Sir, we go ahead, sir. The next, of course, you've spoken about it, but since your article is very in detail, they've spoken. So I will ask this question, sir, quickly, in case you wish to add to what you have said, sir. Sir, Maldives, the location of Maldives, as we've seen on the map, and the peninsular India, which is jutting out into Indian Ocean, Quad coming up with the strategic partnership of the four countries. Do you think that is China's main concerns that
Uh, Go
they've
back to
been?
the map. Lenny, go
I'll,
back to the map.
I'll do that, sir. Just one sec. One sec.
See,
Yes.
where is Seychelles? India has a base there.
Yes, sir.
India is
I have
developing a
actually
base
marked
there.
it, sir. The
Ah,
Indian listening stations, which are
stations, right?
scheduled,
So
Madagascar
basically,
and Mauritius, sir.
now basically, China, if it even thinks of establishing a base in Maldives, it will not happen. But if it
Correct, sir.
wants to, for multiple reasons, Maldives wouldn't want to go to pro China so strongly. Look at the Indian bases. So you are establishing an inner circle, we are establishing an outer circle.
Correct, sir.
Okay, so the inner circle and the outer circle, the inner circle is in trouble. So basically, a base of Maldives of China may not come through. But definitely, with Maldives looking at at Chinese support, unless it gets as badly stuck as Sri Lanka and gives away the Humban Tota port.
Hmm.
But if Maldives is to give away one of the atolls, जिसने भी दिया है, they'll be held to pay in Maldives. It's not going to be easy. And to build it and develop it is enough time for a government change in Maldives.
Correct.
So it's not something that will happen. But definitely, by moving away from India, it gives China a benefit that India is losing its grip in South Asia.
But, sir, will US ever let this happen, sir? With
See, the US embassy in Maldives only opened after
very
the
recent,
last president, very recently, last year, I think.
2020, if I'm not wrong, sir.
Not 2020, it was after the last individual came into power. I'm forgetting his name. पता नहीं क्यों दिमाग से नाम slip हो रहा है.
Uh,
अच्छा,
uh,
that time, the US, on India's insistence, the US opened an embassy in Maldives. And there is no way that the rest of the world is going to let Maldives go towards Chinese side, because
absolutely.
China, and for China, naturally, I mean, you've already got Gwadar, you've got Hambantota with Maldives, because for China, its oil move is mainly through this region,
Correct.
right? And it is also aware that it is only the US that is going to interfere. US is sitting in Diego Garcia, which you see very close by.
Correct.
So for Chinese in the Maldives, it is possibly not going to be a happy situation with Diego Garcia as one of the major US bases right around the bend. Even the French Reunion Islands are close by.
Correct, sir.
And that is where the French are sitting. So in no
Yes.
case is it a happy sign. And that is where India has also got the agreement with the French
Correct, sir.
on similar to the US on Lemoa, sharing of bases.
Correct. The logistic.
So it has got benefits. So it's not going to be a very easy option for China to come into Maldives and establish a base, unless it really is able to draw Maldives so deep into uh, into that debt trap.
Correct. Sir, I have few more questions, but I think we will now go ahead with the audience questions. And if I have some point, I will add on to what the audience have already asked if the question is of
Done.
the similar nature, sir.
Done.
So the first question is from, you can read it on the screen, sir.
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Sir Shritik Kothari has said, ask, keeping derogatory remarks aside, does West feel towards us what we are feeling towards Maldives now? They are pivoting away from us, diversifying, and getting close to our number one enemy.
See, as far as Maldives is concerned, the West is with India, which is one of the reasons no one has said anything. Up till now, the West has looked at Maldives through the Indian eyes. That is how the US embassy opened up. So, as far they're not going to get Maldives, if you look, other than its brotherhood countries, whether it's Turkey, whether it's looking at UAE, or is looking at China, it's not going to get support very much from the West. It has not looked at the West for support. It is trying to maintain neutrality with the West because of the tourism need.
Correct.
But beyond that, nothing. So the West is not going to be paying very much attention to the Maldives.
Correct. So the next question is Sam Keating. Ask, sir, this Muso character must know that his own people will die if our soldiers pull out, yet he's adamant as it's his main promise. You have already covered it, sir. The question is, what is his end games? To let
His
people die
agent
and get voted
basically,
out.
see, the point is, after March 15th are the elections, he wants complete control over Maldives. He doesn't want a parliament which is anti him. He is pushing for this before March 15th so that by the time of elections, he's able to state as to what he's achieved. Once he gets complete control, Maldives has a history of dictatorships.
Correct. 30 years
Yamin
continuous
arrested.
since 2008.
See, Pehle Gayoom was a dictator for decades.
Correct.
Yamin, when he came into power, he arrested
Yes.
his vice president, he arrested the Supreme Court
Yes.
Chief Justice. So Musi is also looking to consolidate himself, and for that he wants complete control.
Correct.
He's not concerned how he gets it, but what he wants is complete control. For him, for any leader who's looking for this, concern of the people is last.
But sir, democracy, I mean, concern of the people, I mean, he's just thinking in terms of short-term games like you had mentioned.
That is what has always been the case. Ab dekho, anyone, most of the leaders who are seeking to hold on to power are looking at short-term gains, which is why you're forced to run to China. Sri Lanka ne wo kiya. Nepal
Pakistan
only
is-
tried it. Yamin tried it. Now he's trying it.
Correct.
So what you are looking at is to show, I have done this in this period, give me another chance, I'll do more.
Absolutely.
Where the nation lands up is a different ballgame. Yamin is now in jail for corruption.
Correct.
Whether he is in jail or in his own house, he's barred. He's out. But the fact is, that is what he did. He took loans and he threw out the Indian company which was building the airport, and they paid, I don't know how many billion in
Correct.
fees because of that action.
Absolutely.
And it was a Singapore
Demerit charges.
court which...
Demerit charges which were to be given.
Huh.
Ask, sir, Chinese money plus propaganda combined with radical Islamic ideology and show of force on ground is a pattern we have seen emerge against us both inside and outside, especially in Asia. How to counter this?
It is something which is very difficult to counter because basically money comes cheap. Bangladesh is one of the countries that has been able to contain it. It is a member of BRI. पर उसने इंश्योर किया कि जितने लोन लेंगे they don't drive the country into a debt trap. For others, it becomes an easy option, and that is difficult.
Correct.
Radical Islamic ideology is spreading. It's not going to be easy to contain. Most
Correct.
nations have not been able to contain it.
Hmm.
Where it starts spreading. The problem also, which you missed out here, is the big brother approach, because India is the most powerful nation in the region. And being a powerful nation with a solid economy and a global power, while nations away will respect you, nations in your vicinity are scared.
Absolutely.
And that is where it adds up.
So, so the next question. Okay, sir, I have a supplementary question to this. I
Huh.
hope we are not getting into a trap, sir, that anything and everything, whatever is happening around, we somehow are bringing China in. I hope this is thought of it, that this is probably the easiest way, that China has done this, China has that done that, thereby hiding our own weaknesses if they were there. Uh, Fine, for political reasons, if political leaders are doing it, I'm okay. But I hope our institutions are aware and they're not sweeping under the carpet only on the name of that. वो जैसे earlier it used to be कि किसी विदेशी ताकत का हाथ है.
No, it's not that. You see, today there is a major competition in the region between India and China. It's an open competition.
Correct.
Today, when we are moving into Southeast Asia in terms of military alliances, pehle kabhi tha nahi, providing military equipment,
Correct.
China is attempting to get a foothold into Indian territory, into Indian neighborhood.
Hmm.
So this is a game which is continuing.
Correct.
And this is something which will continue. India tried to land up in Mongolia.
Correct.
At the time of COVID, we were willing to give them loans, we were willing to give them grants, we were willing to support Mongolia. So when we try and get close to China, China doesn't like it.
Hmm.
They similarly are trying to get close into our neighborhood. So this is a game which will continue between powers. It's the
Correct.
same between Russia and the US,
Yes.
or Russia, US, China.
Correct.
Today, every country which has congratulated Taiwan, including the Philippines,
Huh.
the Chinese have called the ambassador of theirs to the foreign office and said, why are you doing it?
Correct.
So this is a game which will continue. In fact, the Philippines government issued a statement
Sir.
saying that the Chinese foreign ministry speaks gutter language.
But Philippines, whatever, I mean, slightly deviating, they are really showing a lot of guts against the
They are.
Chinese. I think in
I mean,
South
because
China Sea,
that is because they have a military alliance with the US.
US, absolutely. Absolutely. This is an interesting comment, JP. पर ये छोटे छोटे देश जैसे कतार, मालदीव्स एक्सेट्रा भारत को आंखें कैसे दिखा पाते हैं in the first place? So you've
It is
spoken
not
about
that
it.
you're showing eyes. It is basically for own political gains. I mean, these are games.
Sir,
Ab dekho na, now you wait as May comes close. You
sir,
find how much the Indian democracy will come under criticism.
absolutely.
And if you remember Jaishankar's statement,
Sir,
in fact, I have yet to publish that, mere khayal next week nikalunga,
sir,
wherein I'll just read out his statement, and I think we must understand that. Let me just read it out for you. इसमें समझ आ जाएगा as to what we are going to be heading in for. I expect the battle of narratives to reach a crescendo in the first 6 months of this year. As elections come closer, they will actually start to attack the process if it looks like it's going in a way in which the narrative drivers don't like. They will attack the Supreme Court and Election Commission. We've got to figure this out and we've got to fight back.
I think it's a brilliant statement, sir. And he's negating whatever is going to come at.
It will come. So these are things that come in every country. Today, if you look at the T-shirt Mizu or India Out,
Yes,
you would realize that he was fighting on an anti-India platform. The current leadership was fighting on a pro-India platform.
absolutely.
You will find that in Sri Lanka. You will find that in Nepal. except in Bhutan. You would find that in Bangladesh, had the elections been held with the opposition and everyone participating, this would have come.
Hmm. Absolutely, sir.
Pro India, anti India, this is there in the region. कोई choice ही नहीं है. You're too big a power for nations. So basically, अगर आप देखो, let's be happy. It is India, which is what was in discussion in Maldives. It
Yes,
was not Maldives' growth,
correct.
it was India. You actually dominated Maldives' political space. Let's be proud of it.
Actually, sir, in this case, we should not actually feel too bad about these
No,
smaller countries. I mean,
no, this
their
is the thing.
survival is at stake, sir. They cannot
That's
put
what I'm
all their
saying.
eggs into one basket, sir, like you have
That's
said,
what I'm saying. They don't have a choice. I mean, see, for them, unless you discuss about India
sir.
and the fear that India is too powerful and it will one day jhadpo us, so that is where the fear is, and that is with all our neighbors because we are powerful and we've never shown an inclination.
Sir.
But for the public, you make it into a scenario.
Hmm.
So
Like
let's
you
accept it.
recall, sir. You recall, sir. There was a agitation of this Madheshi agitation in Nepal few years back.
Uh-huh.
China tried to send few oil tankers through that highway of theirs. It could never reach Nepal.
Nothing. So basically, come heaven or hell, ultimately you have to come back to us.
Absolutely.
And
Sir,
that
we
is
go
what
ahead.
hurts.
Sir, we go ahead, sir.
Uh-huh.
Colonel Jitendra Chauhan. Sir, don't you think Maldives is just trying to blackmail or take advantage of India, keeping strategic location in respect of India? Sir, I
I
think we
would
have.
say I would say that it is trying to take advantage of the India-China rift.
Absolutely, sir.
It is not trying to take a blackmail or take advantage of India because we can still manage it in other ways. It is taking advantage of the India-China rift.
Correct, sir.
China से जो मिला मिला अब मैं इंडिया से भी कुछ लूंगा, which is why he wanted to come to India immediately after China.
Correct, sir.
और इंडिया ने बोला नहीं.
No. But
So
this is a
it
good way
nations,
of
all
diplomacy.
nations. आप देखोगे all nations, नेपाल ले लो, श्रीलंका ले लो, Maldives ले लो, Bangladesh ले लो, they all take advantage of the India-China rift. दोनों से try and gain as much as you can.
Absolutely.
Play one versus the other, and that will always happen. It is more taking advantage of the rift than trying to blackmail or take advantage of India.
Absolutely. Actually, time and again, as you are mentioning these things, sir, I can actually think of a lot of parallels with Sri Lanka India relationship, with Nepal India relationship. Actually, if we go
Yes.
through that,
And we will go through
it's
the cycle.
absolutely same.
And we will go through the cycle. We will survive the cycle. We'll go through it.
Absolutely.
आएगा जाएगा.
Sir, General
Absolutely.
Sudhakar ji, sir.
Statement, and I fully agree.
Sir.
But counter strategy, we will have options. I mean, you're looking at other ways of trying to handle it. Possibly it's not going to be so easy. We can monitor what we want to. We've got the facilities. You look at the latest naval monitoring cell in Gurgaon,
Correct.
which is where you've got representatives of almost all countries of interest who are sitting there. So you have your monitoring systems. You've got everything that you're interested about.
Like, sir, I keep saying that, in the previous podcast also, that we have to have credible deterrence, which will cost us money, but then probably the war is going to be costlier than that.
Oh, yes. And not only that, you see, we've got a lot of technical inputs which are flowing into us.
Yes.
That is why the Gurgaon, imagine you've set up a naval monitoring system in Gurgaon,
Absolutely.
which is getting in inputs from all over, and you're monitoring the entire Indian Ocean region from there. Whatever you're getting in satellites, the works coming in there. And there is no doubt that you can monitor your area of interest well.
Absolutely. Sir, we take one more question and then we close the discussion, sir. Colonel R.P. Singh, why India is not pulling out from Maldives? Reason to check China or to check Muslim Brotherhood?
No, India is not pulling out for that reason. India is in no rush to pull out. We don't pull out when you try and pressurize us. There are ways by which it will happen. अगर Maldives ने बोल दिया आज तुम निकलो कल आ जाओ, you think we're going to jump?
Absolutely.
So there will be a lot of discussion, there'll be a lot of solution. March 15th Maldives ने बोला है deadline. Has India
Correct.
agreed?
Hmm.
Whether we do, whether we don't is something that the government will decide on multiple parameters. But we don't jump on Maldives. If we have to pull out, are we going to pull out everything?
Yes.
There's a lot of discussion going to happen, and
Hmm.
it will happen at the government level. The Indian ambassador in Malé will be busy running up and down. But
Absolutely.
ultimately, it will have to be a major decision, and India is not going to rush into it. Yeah, just because Maldives ने बोला निकाल दो तो निकाल दो, कल the next guy comes in, he says यार ले आओ तो हम ले जाएंगे. I doubt it will happen that easy.
Sir, there are few questions which I'm not flashing on the screen, but very briefly I'll mention, sir, in case you have already mentioned about it. This is about the radicalization level. Is it to the level at which the radicalization in Pakistan has happened, or it is same, or it is less? Very briefly, sir, if you can
Very
compare.
briefly, I mean, like I mentioned, if your per cap, I mean, if you
Yes,
take the population percentage, if the maximum number of people joining ISIS in terms of population percentage is from Maldives, then you know the level of radicalization.
correct.
It is high.
Sir, I think we've had very good discussion, and we can see from the response and the type of questions which have emerged, sir. Sir, thank you very much for joining us once again. We're looking forward to some more current topics, sir. In fact, I keep a tag of your all the articles whenever I find that this is something different from what is appearing in the mainstream press. I will request you, and I'm sure you'll honor it.
No problems at all. A
Thank you
pleasure.
very much, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Bye. Take care.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind. Thanks.